on stringed instruments in those days. The harmonium, the vajra, was introduced to India around the 1880s. It was introduced by Portuguese missionaries, and these were kind of priests, bishops who wanted to do their Sunday worship. Back in Portugal they had the big organ, but obviously when they're travelling they can't carry that around with them. So someone somewhere, we don't know where, invented a portable organ. That's what they used to call it. And it became very popular, so wherever they went they took that with them. And then when they landed on the shores of India, near Chennai, that kind of area, they brought the harmonium with them. And it is remarkable how quickly that instrument just became very popular in India. I've written a paper on this, so if you want to read it, I can send it to you, right? The history of the harmonium. And so, look, it became very popular. It became very popular for many reasons. One of the reasons was that with this instrument, our students, before they can actually start singing, they need to have spent maybe a year and a half just learning how to play the instrument, right? Then we moved them on to what we call grade 2, which is where they sing their first shot. That's there, it takes a lot of patience, and we Indians, if there's a corner that can be cut, we will cut that corner, and we just wanted to short circuit that process and just kind of, is there a quicker way I can start singing? And the harmonium was the answer to all our problems, yeah? It was like God sent this harmonium to us, and people were singing within weeks, right, of just putting their hand on that instrument. That's one of the reasons, right? That's one of the reasons. The other reason is, as you saw, it took us about 10-15 minutes to tune these up, right? They were in tune when I left the house, right? I swear I tuned it up before I walked out of my house. I thought, I need to tune it up, can't be sitting there, but nevertheless, whenever you get to your destination, you have to tune it up again, right? So that again takes a bit of patience, takes a bit of time. Nevertheless, what happened was these instruments almost became extinct. This is no exaggeration, they almost became extinct, and you would never ever see them on a Sikh stage. So around 1998, 97, I started to learn this, and we started to teach, and we've just spent the last how many ever years just popularising them, kind of bringing them to your awareness, and you can walk away knowing a lot more about our history, knowing that the Kirtan that you listen to is very far removed from the Kirtan that your ancestors, your forefathers were listening to. So that's one thing. And the next thing is the structure of Kirtan you're going to hear today is a bit different. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to, before I do that, I'll introduce the instrument. So this is a rabab. Yeah? So you must have heard the story of Mardana, Guru Nanak Dev's best friend. His lifelong companion, travelled everywhere with him, didn't go anywhere without him, travelled to Mecca, Medina, Baghdad, probably as far as Turkey, down south as far as Sri Lanka, up north as far as the Himalayan mountains, right? And as far east as Bengal, possibly even further, right? And this wonderful man, Mardana, travelled, endured all these journeys with him, right? So why were they such good friends, number one? And number two, why did Mardana endure this, right? Look, they must have travelled a lot on road. No cars, they might have jumped on a horseback now and again, they might have jumped on a boat and a ship, they might have travelled by camel, but a lot of that journey would have been on road. They would have slept rough. India today is very developed. In those days it was bare. Jungles, biyaban, it was very marshy, there's such a rough terrain to travel along, just from the geography of the place, but also it was a very dangerous place to travel. We hear about the thugs. The thug it's an Indian word, thug. This is it's like a jat, a caste, right? It's a caste of people who make their living killing people and robbing them. That is actually how they earn their living, and the British have written about it, we've written about it, that there's this caste of law who live like this. Thuggy was rife. You didn't need to travel more than 100 miles until you came across a band of travelling thugs, and Guru Nanak Dev did encounter them. This is in our history. So why on earth did Mardana endure this? Mardana was Guru Nanak Dev's musician, and for Guru Nanak Dev, music was possibly the most important form of bandagi, the most important form of meditation. This is so important to him that he just would not travel anywhere without his friend. So, Mardana, the Muslim, there's a lot we can go into with regard to that, but he was a Muslim, he played the rabab. Doom is a musician. You call them at weddings, you call them at a birthday, you call them at a religious function, and you pay them, you give them some chai, you give them a nice bug, some clothes, and that's how they living, right? They just travelled, they played music, and that's who Mardana was, and that is the rabab. If you look at that, it's unfretted, doesn't have frets, it's plucked, and you need to kind of have a really good pitch knowledge. Call it sur gyan. Sur means pitch, gyan means knowledge, sur gyan to be able to play this instrument. The instrument that I'm playing is the sarangi. Sarangi is derived from two words, so and rang. So means 100, rang means colour. So what you do, the reason why it has that name is because you can reproduce so many emotions, right? You can play really jolly music, and whenever there's a Bollywood scene and someone's just died, or the husband's left her, or she's left him, or something sad has happened, that instrument you're listening to is the sarangi. Okay, it's always the one they always pick for that really sad moment in a Bollywood film. This is a very, not this specific one, but the sarangi is a very, very old instrument, right? Thousands of years old. Okay. Behind me, we have a rabab, dil rabab. Okay, the dil rabab is a fretted instrument. So we joke at them because they've got the easy instruments and we've got the hard instruments, right? But it's fretted, so you kind of know where to place your fingers, right? This is the structure in terms of what you're going to do. We're going to start off with an improvised, non-rhythmic piece of music. That is called an alap. Yeah? In that instrument, the sarangi and the rabab, they're kind of going to talk to each other, right? Maybe I'll start and the sarangi will say something, and then the rabab will respond. Just words for God. Namaskare means to worship, to pay obeisance. Aise Guru ko balba jaiye. I am absolutely a sacrifice I am humbled by such a great essay, Guru Gopal Balaji. Aap Mukat, that Guru is free of all impediments, of all sin, of all mortal shortcomings. Aap Mukat Mohe Tare, and therefore is able to grant me salvation, because the Guru is without sin, without evil, is not embellished with any kind of shortcoming. Govern, 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 Guru Kahiye. How many times? Govern, how many times? Govern, govern, govern. How many times? How many times? How many times? Gun Kahiye. Can I keep repeating his gun? Gun means qualities, good qualities. So there's gun and there's avgun. Yeah, there's gun and avgun. Avgun is also pronounced avgun. Avgun are our shortcomings. Gun are our qualities. Governor, 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 gun kahiye. How many times can I repeat his qualities, his qualities? Ant nahi kachpare. Ant means the end, the limit. Ant nahi. So there is no limit. Kachpare. Lakh, lakh, lakh. Lakh means 100,000. Lakh, lakh, lakh. Kai kore. Kore means crore. Lakh, lakh, lakh. Kai kore. Ko hai aisa bichare. There are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, tens of millions who try to contemplate on those qualities, but they cannot do that. Bisam, bisam, bisam hi pahi hai. Bisam means I am amazed. Bisam, bisam, bisam hi pahi hai. Lal gulal rangare. In the final line, Kaho Nanak Santan Ras Ai hai. Oh Nanak, Kaho Nanak Santan Ras Ai hai. Jo chaakh gunga muskare. I have experienced that love, that feeling in the presence of the Guru. Kaho Nanak Santan Ras Ai hai. Jo chaakh gunga muskare. Gunga is someone who can't speak. Gunga. Muskare is when you smile. So what the Guru is saying, it's a bit like when a gunga, someone who can't speak, eats something sweet, something absolutely lovely, something that tastes absolutely beautiful. And then you say to the gunga, can you describe how do we taste? And all the gunga can do is smile at you, because there are no words that can describe this. So this Shabd, my friends, is a Shabd which just cries out, sings out the glories of the Guru. It's just a total dedication to the qualities of our Guru. So you have heard just the rag, the tune, the beat, the whole ambience of the Shabd has been quite uplifting, quite happy, quite jolly. It's in a rag called Kannada, and this particular form of Kannada is a very jolly, uplifting kind of piece of music. So what we have in the Guru Granth Sahib is we have around 60 rags. Each rag has its own mood, it evokes its own emotion. Some of them are very uplifting, some of them are very jolly, they're very happy. Some of them are very sad. And after this Shabd, we'll give you an example of that. So one of the things we lost over the years, right, as we kind of turned our back to these instruments, turned our back to the styles and the structures and the traditions of Kirtan, we also lost many of our rags. And And this is what I mean by that. So to learn a rag, it takes a long time to learn the structure, the sequences, the emotions, how to emphasize certain keys. You know, that takes a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of energy and a lot of practice. We have 60 of them, right? My students, we run a few classes in the Midlands. We just about get through one rag in 1 year, right? You know, we really deep dive into that rag. And the way I always describe it is like that blank wall up there. And what we're going to do is we're going to paint little lines in there week by week. Then we're going to start colouring it, and it's going to start taking form, right? And it takes a long time to do that. And guys, we have 60 of these rags that us ragis have to learn, right? So you can imagine, you know, it's not easy, it's hard, and unfortunately we lost a lot of them because as Sikhs we just never played them. And we had to go to old masters, some of whom were like 70 years old, whose grandfather had passed it to their father and had passed it to them. And that's how we slowly collected these rags again. Sat Gur E Name, Sri Gurdev E Name. musical journey, my friends, I'm going to take you to the point in our history where Guru Nanak Dev left home. So when he was around 18 years old, Guru Nanak Dev came home, he walked into the house and he said to his wife that I'm leaving, I'm going. She couldn't understand this. His father, his mother, the in-laws were there, the two kids, very young, they were there. And he said, I have to leave, I have to do God's work. And she wondered whether he had become a brahmachari sannyasi. Let me explain. So a sannyasi is someone who leaves home, right? We have celibate sannyasis and we have brahmachari sannyasis. Grest sannyasis. She wondered whether he had become a grest sannyasi, someone who is married and leaves home. So I'm going to do God's work, I'm turning my back on the life of the household, and my family mean nothing to me, and that's the last you're going to see of me. That happens even today, right? And then you have brahmachari sannyasis who are not married and they've just made the decision, celibate monks, that I don't want to get married, it's a complete waste of time. All I see is couples arguing and fighting all the time, and I just want to devote my life to God, yeah? So she wondered whether he had become a grahast sannyasi, that this is it, we're never going to see him again. And she said to him, my darling husband, when will I see you again? And he said, I don't know. And she looked at the two children, a tear trickling down her cheek, and she said, who will look after them? How will I raise them? What will I say to the villagers? Why is he gone? Where has he gone? When's he going to come back? It was, these things filled people with shame in those days. How am I going to explain this, right? And my friends, so Guru Nanak Dev, he turns around, has one last look at his wife, one last look at his children, and he walks out of the door. And that, in our itihas, in our history, is a very sad moment. Now we know the full context, we know what happened, right? We know that he travelled the four corners. We know about the adventures that he went through. We know about the incident with Gauda Rakesh, the cannibal. We know about the incident with Sajjan the Tag. We know about all of that, right? But that one precise moment was a very sad moment in history. And whenever I think of that moment, or I think of the moment when our sixth Guru was imprisoned in Gwalior, right? So, Gwalior is a fort, it's at the top of a hill, and Jahangir, the Mughal emperor, imprisoned our Guru inside there for many months. And the Sikhs were like, are we ever going to see him again? Is this it? Is that where he's going to die? Will we ever cast our humble eyes upon him again? And every day the Sikhs gathered at the foot of that hill and they looked up as far as they could possibly see and just said to themselves that somewhere in that fort there is our Guru. It's a very sad moment, and we've got many of these. So, that is Ramgali, the Rag. If we were to paint that Rag, it would be that scene of Guru Nanak Dev walking out of that house. If we were to paint that Rag, it would be those Sikhs gathered at the foot of Gwalior looking up with longing eyes, hearts filled with sadness. That is Ramkali, my friends. So we're going to finish with Ramkali. We will play an alap in Ramkali. I would like you to just close your eyes, just try to connect with the music, and just think about that one page of history that I've just shared with you while you listen to this music, okay? Then we will do the Anand Sahib and we will do an
ਕਲੀ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਤੀਜਾ ਨਾਮ ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਆਨੰਦ ਪਿਆ ਮੇਰੀ ਮਾਏ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਮੈਂ ਪਾਇਆ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਦਾ ਪਾਇਆ ਸਹਿਜ ਸੇਤੀ ਮਨ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਵਾਲਾ
श्री भगवती जी सहाय वार श्री भगवती जी की पातशाही 10वीं। प्रथम भगवती सिमर कै गुरु नानक लई ध्याए, फिर अंगद गुर ते अमरदास रामदासै होए सहाय। अर्जन हर गोबिंद नो सिमरो श्री हर राय, श्री हर कृष्ण जी ध्याइए जिस डिठै सब दुख जाए। तेग बहादुर सिमरिए घर नौ निध आवे ताए, सब ठाई होए सहाय। दसां पातशाहियां दी जोत साहिब श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी दे पाठ दर्शन दीदार दा ध्यान धर के खालसा जी बोलो जी, बोलो जी। पंजां प्यारियां चौहां साहिबजादियां 40 मुक्तियां खटियां जपियां तपियां, जिन्हां ने नाम जपिया वंड छकिया देग चलाई तेग वाही, देख के अंडिट कीता तिन्हां प्यारियां सचियारियां दी कमाई दा ध्यान धर के खालसा जी बोलो जी, बोलो जी। जिन्हां ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਸਿੰਘੜੀਆਂ ने धर्म हेत सीस दिते, बंद बंद कटवाए खोपरियां लहाइयां, चरखड़ियां ते चढ़े तन आरियां नाल चिरवाए गए। गुरुद्वारियां दी सेवा लई कुर्बानियां कीतियां, धर्म नहीं हारिया सिੱਖੀ केसां ਸਵਾਸਾਂ नाल निभाई, तिन्हां दी कमाई दा ध्यान धर के खालसा जी बोलो जी, बोलो जी। पंजां तख्तां सरबत गुरुद्वारां दा ध्यान धर के खालसा जी बोलो जी, बोलो जी। प्रथमे सरबत खालसा जी की अरदास है जी। सरबत खालसा जी को वाहिगुरु वाहिगुरु वाहिगुरु। नाम चित आवे चित आवण का सदका सर्व सुख होगा। जहाँ जहाँ खालसा जी साहिब तहाँ तहाँ रचा रियायत, देख तेग फतेह बिरद की पैज पंथ की जीत। श्री साहिब जी सहाय खालसा जी के बोल वाले बोलो जी, बोलो जी। हे अकाल पुरख अपने सिखां नूं बख्शो सिੱਖੀ दान, केस दान, रहत दान, विवेक दान, विसाह दान, भरोसा दान, दाना सिर दान, नाम दान। श्री अमृतसर साहिब जी दे दर्शन इशनान, चौंकियां झंडे बुंगे जुगो जुग अटल। धर्म का जयकार खालसा जी बोलो जी, बोलो जी। हे अकाल पुरख अपने पंथ दे सदा सहाई दातार जियो। श्री ननकाना साहिब ते होर गुरुद्वारे गुरधावां ने जिन्हां तो पंथ नूं विछोड़िया गया है, खुले दर्शन दी दार ते सेवा संभाल दा दान खालसा जी नूं बख्शो। हे निमाणियां दे मान, हे निताणियां दे ताण, हे निओटियां दी ओट, हे निआसरियां दे आसरे, हे निगतियां दी गत, हे निपतियां दी पत। हे सच्चे पिता वाहिगुरू जी, हे सच्चे पिता महाराज, आप दे चरणों विच अरदास बेनती जोड़दी है महाराज। महाराज तुहाडी मेहर सदका, तुहाडी किरपा सदका तुसीं कैम्ब्रिज यूनिवर्सिटी ते UEA यूनिवर्सिटी के बच्चों को उद्यम बख्शिया महाराज। महाराज उन्होंने इकट्ठे होकर गुरमत संगीत अकैडमी को सद्या ते कीर्तन कायम जस किए गए हैं महाराज। महाराज कीर्तन करदियां सेवा करदियां बहुत ही प्रकार दी भुलां हो गई होंगियां महाराज, अपने अनजान बच्चे समझ के माफ़ करना महाराज। सारिਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਉੱਚੀ विद्या का दान बख्शना महाराज, चढ़ती कला बख्शनी ताकि अगे जाके गुरु पंथ की सेवा कर सकन महाराज। काम क्रोध लोभ मोह अहंकार जिहे विकारां तो बचाउणा महाराज, मेरा भरिया हाथ रखना, उच्ची विद्या बख्शनी महाराज। अखर वादा घाटा महाराज भुल चुक माफ़ करने, सरबत दे कारज रास करने, सही प्यारे मेल जिन्हां मिलिया तेरा नाम चित आवे। नानक नाम चढ़ती कला तेरे भाने सरबत दा भला। वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा वाहिगुरू जी की फतेह। लोहरा गया पई अकाल की तबै जनाए वंत, सब सिखन को हुक्म है गुरु मानियो ग्रंथ। गुरु ग्रंथ जी मानियो प्रगट ब्रह्म कीते, जो प्रभ को मिल घोष है घोष प्रभ है। राज हरे तेरा खालसा ही रहे न कोय, पार हुए सब मिलेंगे बच्चे शरण जोय। वाहिगुरू नाम जहाज जय जय सुरे पार, जो सदा कर सिमरे गुरु ਬੋਲੇ